Hey, you've tuned in live to the GFree and Happy show. Tonight, we're talking all about farm to school with guests Chef Kirsten of mesadevita.com and Audra Mulkern with Rooted in the Valley and Female Farmer Project. So stay tuned. Hi, and welcome to the GFree and Happy show that happens every Monday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, and I'm your host, Kathy. I have been GFree and Happy for 5 years now, and tonight I have an amazing night. I'm so excited because I have one of my favorite people on earth sitting next to me, Chef Kirsten, and on Skype tonight, and we'll be talking to Audra in just a few minutes, who is an amazing storyteller, photographer, and there she is there. And we'll be talking to them all about farm to school and how passionate and they're advocates and how we can all get involved. And we'll be talking to them in just a few minutes. But first, episode 58 of the GFree and Happy show is brought to you by Oval Eye TV. And Oval Eye TV believes in building community through shared experiences. We produce professional live webcasts that bring tribes together. So visit Oval Eye TV today. So let's bring on Audra too, and we're going to get started right away. And we'll talk to Chef Kirsten first, and let's hear a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Hi.
Hello.
Hi there.
Yay.
Again.
This is so exciting. 2 guests tonight.
Yeah, and I'm excited I get to sit here in studio. I'm usually Skyping in. So I'm Chef Kirsten Helly with Mesa DeVita, and Mesa DeVita means Table of Life. I'm a personal and private chef and a nutrition consultant, and I share my story about losing over 100 pounds by creating a healthy new family legacy, deliciously one dinner at a time, and hopefully spreading that message to the world.
And you are.
Thanks.
Very much. And Audra, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I don't have quite it down as much as Kirsten does. That was wonderful. I am a local event planner, marketing manager type, and recently got interested in photography for the sole purpose of storytelling of the farms in my valley.
And you do such an amazing job in the storytelling. And I've looked at your website throughout, since you've had it live. You haven't had it live that long, though, right?
Just a few months.
Yeah, and you've already got a ton of great posts. And we have their websites on during the show at the bottom here. And you should log on to check out both of these. It's mesadevita.com and audramulkern.com. So the first question I have, because we're going to talk about farm to school. This is a huge issue because we have a ton of farmers out there that could probably easily help out schools. The local schools around here are in need, I think, and we have a ton of farmers right here in our valley. And so they're local with me. And they've done some amazing things already with the school system. So let's talk about some of the things. How do we get the schools to change from these? We're showing some lunch that Chef Kirsten took pictures of the processed kind of foods with the chicken McNuggets and the potatoes and the canned fruits. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit, because you visited the school recently. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about the program, the program that they have now, and how we can, or how you're trying to change it, and how Audra's trying to help out too.
Yeah, it's a collective thing, that's for sure. So I had the opportunity to go to the school and talk with the cooks and the nutrition director there, and it's a fabulous school locally, and I'm so I'm excited that she's wanting to do more. That's
Which
great.
is a big plus.
It is.
That these people are wanting, or hi Yesenia, that we're trying to, they're trying to reach out to. It's not just us.
There's a lot of roadblocks going on. The parents want better, the schools want better, but they only have limited time and resources. And the thing is, right now, they're meeting the school lunches with the chicken nuggets, the formed chicken patties, and the tater tots, corn dogs, macaroni and cheese, teaching our kids how to live on fast food, essentially, teaching them this is what you eat for lunch. Go out when you grow up and do this.
But every day.
Every day.
It's not like once a week.
No, they're learning that this is the way you eat. The sad thing is they're meeting the USDA requirements. That's what was so heartbreaking to me. And to do any better, they're already lacking time, they're lacking resources. So it's really going to take a lot of collective effort to get things back. I had the chance to go in and talk with them and just help. She wants the cooks to be educated, because these women are working hard. They're making, not a ton of money. They're going in to feed our children and have a part-time job. They don't have a cooking or nutrition background.
And everything is sent into them, right? And it's not really they get to plan too much. No. Right?
They don't even have stoves in the kitchens. There's a central location that they do some prep. The rest is all brought in pre-made and just warmed up, because that's what they have to work with.
So, Audra, you have people that you've talked to, and the farmers actually, and you all get together, and Chef Kirsten, you've been in this too, where you've met with the kitchen cooks, the farmers. And is there anybody else in this mix too that you've been meeting with?
This time around, well, we have a vegetable farmer in the valley, Sarah of Oxbow Farm, who has been meeting with,
yes.
Yes, she is. She's been meeting with the school annually for 4 years. And this is the first year that she felt like she actually was able to move the ball a little bit forward. They've been able to do an annual Taste Washington, which is a 1 day every year where the vegetables are brought in from the farms, and then the FFA kids take them around to the tables, and the kids can take what they like. But she's made some progress, and she looks like she's going to get one every month.
Yes.
We're going to get to taste, a different farm will feature vegetable or a meat or dairy product at the school. So a monthly thing is fantastic.
So is it like a talk too, like education about the farmer, or the farms, and then here's the vegetables kind of thing?
Well, it's usually what we do is have the FFA kids come in, and they're from the high school, so they tend to be kind of teenagers, and they try to talk to the kids a little bit, but still it's
it's a little better, probably the mentor kind of thing, the older kids.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess it's one step at a time.
It is.
So is it just her, or is there other farmers that are helping her out then?
Well, this year, another farmer joined her, Ann Becker of Cherry Valley Dairy. Cherry Valley Dairy is a dairy that has been around for 80 years, but has just now been renewed this year as a dairy. And their first cheese won awards nationally. So now we have this, nationally recognized dairy in the valley, and they really want to make a difference. And they, so Ann's on the case. And Ann, while she's a cheesemaker and a farmer, she is a former health policy analyst from Washington, D.C. So she comes from a really educated background about how to move these things forward. And she's going to be spending some time in Olympia this week as well.
Oh, and now you went to our state capital too. Can you tell us about that too?
Yeah, I think that's what I think hopefully with this show, we need a lot of people coming together around this, and this is what will need to happen to get these things happening finally moving forward. But I went with the American Heart Association down to Olympia, and we lobbied for a few things. One was tobacco funding, of course, and helping that, but also it was helping the childhood obesity epidemic, and ways to do that. One of the things we wanted to get some retrofitting going on in the school kitchens, and getting stovetops so they can actually do some cooking.
So wasn't there stovetops I mean, I thought there were stovetops when I was in there 10 years ago, but
I guess at this school, so most schools in the area don't have any. I know at my son's school district, they don't even have lunch. They have servers. They don't have anybody doing any cooking. They have a service that comes in and makes all the food, so they just warm it up. And it's all processed food. They've completely dropped the ball. And the thing is, right here in the valley, I love that what's happening, and I think it's going to start building and building. And there are some schools in Seattle doing it really wonderful too. These people want to do it. The farms are itching to get their products into the school. The kids, they want them fed.
Isn't that nice? That's nice to hear too.
But there's some hoops that have to be.
Okay, so one of the things is to get stoves, which I'm sorry, I can't believe that the schools don't have a stove if they have these kitchens.
Yeah.
Well, you said yours doesn't have any, but I'm pretty sure our schools had kitchen helpers, kitchen cooks, and they didn't have a stove. So what else is there? Are you advocating then for, all the good nutritional whole foods?
That's part of it. I think with this, right now there's a lot going on in Washington, D.C., and it's great because probably people like Ann are helping this move forward. But the Obama campaign is very on the ball. They're getting there. It's baby steps. There have been some changes already implemented, and I got some feedback on those changes, like requiring the kids to take a scoop of vegetables. But
wait, from the cooks, did you get that?
Yeah. Most of that's going in the trash, unfortunately.
And what were the vegetables that they were scooping out?
Again, that's what I got to go and talk to them about. So I cook for a lot of families that have very picky children, and I know if I serve the big huge chunks of broccoli and that they're serving up and told that's what you're supposed to take as a vegetable, I'm not even going to eat that. So I talked to them about ways to make it healthy, make it delicious, and make the kids enticed to take it. And that's where the farmers are coming in too. And I love this education piece because I think that's what's been missing, getting the kids excited. Well, get them dirty, get them talking about it.
And Audra could talk about this too, where, because Audra's very good about doing the storytelling in the farm, all the farms in the valley. But when we went through with Farmer Jane and her farm, we got to see her pick up the vegetables and smell them and taste them and have her, she gave us some to try just out of the dirt, and you don't do that, you don't see that anymore. Tell us, can we kind of visit farms? Are there any kind of field trips going on for farms nowadays?
Sarah, who, while she's a farmer, she's actually a full-time educator now at Oxbow Farm. And that's what she does full-time is, excuse me, leading field trips and summer camps, and she's a full-time educator, getting kids on the farm and getting their hands dirty and eating nasturtiums and pulling carrots, out of the ground. And they do a really great job with their education programs, and they have 2 major events every year that have to do with, getting kids to see, and the tagline is, "This is where your food starts."
Nice. Oh, that's nice. And how do they, is that through the classes, or are there should they look for people that are watching? Should they look for like a website that has a farm that does this for the summertime? Because that would be cool to have kids go into things like that.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more of a trend, which is a trend I like, where a lot of the local organic farms are hosting the summer camps.
So check that out. Check out for your local,
the local Western Washington area. There's quite a few.
There are. I think that's where I like to see it happening in the school though too, because a lot of kids, there's been a whole generation lost when it comes to being connected with your food. Food is now just filler, and schools are showing that that's what's happening. That's what they're giving.
It's kind of starting your lifestyle off with the filler foods.
Yeah.
And Jen was saying, my husband in high school used to eat 3 corn dogs a day at lunch until the lunch lady told him they'd changed the rules to only allow kids to eat 2 a day.
Nice.
That was in 2002.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I remember my lunch every day was tater tots, a cup of orange juice that was frozen. It was like the Donald Duck orange juice, about this big, and a pizza-like product. They call it pizza, but that is not pizza, and that's what they're still serving.
I'm pretty sure I ate donuts and cinnamon rolls.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where this whole connection, the farmer, school, kid thing, getting them excited about what's going on and learning about it, and hopefully taking that information home
and
too.
Enjoying those green leafy things or the things that pull out, the carrots, whatever.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And it has to be prepared in a good way. That's the thing. That's kind of lost at this. It's not quite there yet. So that's another thing with getting all of the schools retrofitted with a great place to cook, and cooks that are trained up and know how to cook too, not just warm things through. That's going to be a big difference, getting the kids really wanting to eat it. So
I guess for some of the things that we can do to help, especially the farmers that you visited, what can everybody do to get the schools, because the states, Washington's starting now, and Oregon, I was saying, is doing better. And they have the USDA, I think, is that the website I told you guys about? I'll have them on the video here. But there's a site that has January 2014 to June 2014, where the U.S. is all the states are going to start doing this with the farms, but it's only that amount of time too. So Audra, what can we do to get more people to look at organic farms in their area to help out the education and the schools? Is there anything that you can think of that we can, go to, or is there a website, anything?
Oh, goodness. I was doing a little research on my own, and I see that, the funding is just now starting to get back into the budgets. Just this year, they were able to, I think around 2007, 2008, a lot of the funding got cut off. So there's been a 5-year gap. And now the funding is starting to come back. The interest is still there. I think the farmers really need help at the governmental level. One of their challenges is that packaging is required of the food that comes into the schools. And, with local farms, they're planning to just dump off boxes with carrots, I guess, and that's something that they can't necessarily have. And the local dairy that, worked with the schools this last month, they have a packaging issue for cheese as well, where, the dairy does natural wax casings for the cheese. So that's going to be an issue. Packaging, delivery mechanisms, those types of things are going to be hard for the farmers. So it may mean more money on the taxpayers' part. Volunteers are certainly needed to, visit, write letters, call. But I think this is kind of an upswell that's really going to start catching fire in the next year.
Yeah, very good. Thank you for that. And then if you guys had to choose some of the things for the kids now, what would be a menu for the kids now? School.
I got to do this. I was really excited. She let me come in, and I brought some ideas for easy recipes. And they're going to put my chicken fried rice, it's not really fried, on the menu in the Riverview School District, and let the kids try it. And I'm all about sneaking vegetables in, but unfortunately you can't with the school lunch program. It has to be seen and identified. So
really?
Yeah, it's one of their things. So,
but moms do that all the time.
I know, and the moms should, but unfortunately a lot of these children are not getting healthy lunch or healthy dinners or breakfasts at home. And what they're getting is nothing but garbage. So I feel like school needs to be the place where they're at least getting a respite and some healthy food and some nourishment to help them
at least start their day off, because they have a lot of learning to do. So what would be some of the things?
Well, the chicken fried rice is a big thing, and getting like some potatoes right out of the garden, out of the farms that are, have an excess of potatoes all of the time.
You don't have to package those, do you?
No, roast them up. Yeah. There's issues, there are, but that's again coming together. Yeah, unfortunately,
just throw them out there.
Well, the thing is, I think that's where we as parents need to come in and speak up. Go to your legislators, write letters. There's money. there's a lot of money. It's going somewhere. So the louder, this is what they say, the squeakier the wheel gets the grease. So be loud about it. Tell them we want healthy school lunches. The problem is right now, a lot of people, my kids don't buy school lunch anymore. And I know a lot of parents aren't doing it. So they're losing the funding. And then it has to get even cheaper and, lower budget. And then the children that are getting maybe their only meal of the day through the free or reduced school lunch program, they're left with what's left over. And
with all the food allergies and things, I wouldn't think it would be the best. Cross contamination. So a lot of the kids are coming up with all these food allergies nowadays. So they couldn't at all be near a kitchen.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, all these food allergies are likely coming from all the processed food that we're all being bombarded with, and now they're feeding that they're serving. So they all want to do better. That's one of the things that, the school district, she wants to do so much better, but there's so many roadblocks. So parents speak up. I really want them to talk to the principal about making these changes. Like I said, there's money. There is plenty of money in the government level.
Nice to give some to the kids.
Yeah, let's give some more to the kids when it comes to their lunches. They'll learn better. We need a generation of better learners, and we're not getting that. So
Audra, what would you choose for the kids to eat if you could? What kind of menu?
Well, I think, one of the obvious things is a fresh salad bar. My children have complained about how it's wilted and that the vegetables, could bounce because they're so rubbery. And that's only, a product of the fact that it's sat on the salad bar for so long because nobody's taking it. So, if there was purple broccoli or, red bell pepper, making it exciting and
colorful.
Beautiful, goes a long way for these kids.
Yeah. I gave them I got to sample a salad recipe with the ladies at the school lunch program, and they really loved it, and they're talking about putting that on there too. And it was chopped broccoli and carrots and bell peppers and celery and some beans and for protein, and a really great balsamic dressing, and they loved it. And they said their kids love the 3-bean salad out of the can, which I'm really shocked they do. But
I'm shocked too.
She said they took that, so I know they'd be excited about this, but there's a process to getting recipes written for the schools and the testing and the nutrition analysis on it.
Who would test? Would you do some of the testing? Or
I don't have that. They have to go through their jumps through that. But I did do some research. There are some schools across the country that have phenomenal school lunch programs, and they already have a lot of the work done for them. They have the USDA, the recipes written out, the ordering, so they can just order it straight in off of their USDA packaging and their order forms. And so I passed those along too, and I'm sure she's seen them. But again, it's a change. It's a bit of a change.
It's a huge change.
And they say, what I heard a lot was, well, this is what the kids like. This is our highest consumption day. All the kids want to do it. But
are you sure? If they asked, if they gave a little poll,
I think so too, or at least let them sample it. If the kids don't know any different, they're going to stick with what's familiar. But I know my kids like that stuff over, if I gave them the choice, they're going to want tater tots and corn dogs, but I'm not giving it to them. So it needs to be that same way at school too, I think.
One of my favorites growing up was the broccoli salad. Mm-hmm. I love that with the raisins, and it was good.
Yeah, let them get used to that flavor and not the processed salty things, and that's unfortunately
that's another thing.
Yeah,
sugar and salt.
All
right, so to go to our local schools, the principal would be one of the things we could do. Go to our local farms would be another, to talk to them and ask what we can volunteer for, right, Audra? People are... Okay, so ask what we can volunteer for there, and also then write letters, go to because this is our kids. We have to actually nourish them and kind of get a good lifestyle going when they're young too, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So do you guys have any other really good advice for parents or kids to do nowadays with the school programs?
One thing that I'm going to reach out to our principal, and something I suggested here, but I suggested it like, go do these things, and not, they have their hands full. There's some research showing that if kids have their recess right before lunch, they tend to eat more and they take better choices at lunchtime. But most schools have recess after lunch, so the kids are not hungry at that point. They're rushing through to get outside. So that's a big change. Tell your principal you want lunches moved beforehand.
Yeah, that would
or
be
after recess.
After, yes.
Yeah. one small change.
Yes, that's a good one. Audra, do you have any? How about the one you were telling us earlier with the, I think getting the kids involved in like summer camps and the things like that, that would be really good.
One of the great ways to volunteer at your local schools is a lot of the schools have garden programs and farm programs for the science classes. And they need volunteers and they need, vegetable starts. And it's an expensive program to, bring in dirt and make sure that it's taken care of. And if you have a green thumb, that's a great way to volunteer.
That is. Thank you for that. That's a very good one. So where can we find you, and what kind of events are coming up, Audra, for you?
I have a farm event at Oxbow Farm on May 4th. It's a Sunday from 10 to 2, and that is our spring sowdown. We're going to be celebrating spring and where our food starts and planting seeds and helping get the farm started. And that you can find information about that at oxbow.org. You can find my guest series of farmer posts about their farm to school experiences at audramulkern.com.
That I recommend everybody reading through her blog and looking at all her beautiful pictures. She's also getting publications. You have a book, right?
I do. I wrote a book several years ago documenting a season of the farmers markets here in our valley. And it contains essays from the different farmers and the vendors who come to market and why they come to market and why it's important to them.
And where can we find that?
That is called Rooted in the Valley, and that can be found on iTunes and at blurb.com.
Very good. And Chef Kirsten, where can we find you, and do you have any events coming up?
See mesadevita.com, always sharing more recipes. And I have an event with the American Heart Association and QFC in Bellevue on the 28th, I believe it is. I'll be teaching a class there, healthy cooking, budget-friendly class. And right now that's the only public one. And hopefully in the next year or so, we'll have a cooking kitchen that will be bringing kids in to learn from the farmers and learn how to cook, and right here in the area. That's the hope in the next year or two. So
that would be very nice. And also, since we're all GFree and Happy on this show and my followers, can you tell us a little bit about your menu program before we stop here?
I'd love to. If you want to bring in farm fresh food and know what to do with it and don't feel like you can cook, I have my menus by mesadevita.com. Kathy's been a great supporter. And I send out weekly healthy menu plans every week for an entire year, brand new recipes. And they help you bring more life to the table, expand your palate, teach you how to be a kitchen rock star. And you get organized grocery list, and it helps you just take all that yummy farm fresh seasonal produce, not too weird, something your family's gonna like, and teaches you how to cook it and save time.
Kind of mix it, put colors, and I am now a rock star because
yeah. And I just added online cooking classes this year, so we're adding to those every single month. So
thank you both so much.
Thank you.
This has been a lot of fun, and I think I'm going to do some kind of series about this because I think it's very important to start advocating now. So this has been Kathy with GFree and Happy, and I hope everybody has a GFree Happy week.